Hi everyone, welcome to our show. This week's episode, I'm so excited. Leah is in the building, and I'm excited because this is my first time meeting Leah in person. We've only met on Facebook, and we actually connected through, was it Alicia?
I think so, yeah.
Alicia Henson had posted something, and
I had like sent out a Mayday on Facebook after my second hospital stay,
okay,
and I just was like, anybody that knows anybody or anything about autoimmune disease, please, like,
that's
let me
what it
know.
was. Okay, and I saw that and I responded. So this is our fourth episode of It Takes a Village. Literally, it takes a village, and the village is expanding. And I'm really excited about where the village is taking us because we're about to take this show on the road. And Leah coming with us. We about to
Yep.
travel. So let's get into it. Tell us when you were diagnosed.
I was diagnosed, I want to say the first week of December 2016, so it was very recent.
Wow.
Yeah,
And this is March. Okay.
yeah.
Mm.
So I'm still very much adjusting to this new life,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm being exhausted, being achy all the time. But I'm pacing myself, and I have a good support system right now,
That's
like an
good.
awesome support system.
So, just newly diagnosed, because I'm quite sure there are going to be people who are newly diagnosed watching this. And you mentioned being able to pace yourself. What are some things that you experienced in the beginning that even led you to go to the doctor?
Well, the beginning of October, I had gotten a boil in one of my armpits, and at first I just didn't pay it any mind. But by the end of the week, I had a fever of about 102.
Oh,
So
wow.
I went to urgent care. They did blood work. They were like, "Oh, you have a boil. That's probably with the infection you're fighting." Gave me an antibiotic and pain meds.
Typical.
Yes, by the end of that weekend, I started experiencing pain in my hands and my feet, up my wrists, up my ankles. They asked me to check in with my primary that Monday. She was like, "Oh, well, maybe you're just having a reaction to
Typical.
antibiotic or whatever. Just go home, drink fluids, try to, get rest." Did that. It progressively got worse. It was the pain was unlike anything I had ever imagined. Um, it was hard to get from room to room. Um, to do my hair, I didn't have the strength. My hands hurt so everything.
This is all her hair, by the way.
It's all me.
All her hair. So when she said do her hair, do all of that.
I had no strength. Like the upper body was not having it. Like we're trying to wrestle with this hair, and it was just, it was just really, it was like a pit. I was just like falling into like this darkness, and I did everything I possibly could, following up with all doctors and everything. I was in the hospital like twice within 2 weeks because the
Wow.
flare had gotten so bad. So by the time I'm like halfway through the flare in the second hospital stay or emergency room stay, the doctor's like, "I think you need to see a rheumatologist. I believe that you may have some autoimmune disease." All my tests were coming back negative. Everything. Everything was coming back negative. That scared the mess out of me. I was like, what is this?
Right.
What is this? This is too real. This was something I couldn't ignore. This was not a figment of my imagination.
Mm-hmm.
So, I want to say about a month from then, I finally got an appointment with the rheumatologist, and they did some testing, and I had positive antibodies. And a few weeks later, I also found out that I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's disease.
And explain what that is for somebody who is not familiar with Hashimoto's.
Sure. Hashimoto's is a type of hypothyroidism, and it's basically almost similar to lupus. Your immune system is attacking the thyroid. So it was hard to diagnose both because they kind of have some of the same symptoms.
Right.
So yeah, it's both things. working against me right now, but
And that's why autoimmune diseases are so hard to pinpoint which one, because they mimic each other. You know, like me having lupus and Sjogren's and having thyroid disease, and um, then you have um, Raynaud's with the fingers and the toes. So you have all those, and they were like struggling to figure out which one, because they all mimic each other.
right.
So, you know, one of the things that you have to be vigilant about is to write down your symptoms.
Yes.
So it's good that you kept following up and making them do the work, because they sent you away like, oh, it's just a boil.
Yeah, like I was like really getting frustrated. I was scared. My second time in the hospital, I broke down crying. The inflammation was so bad, like I couldn't hold food down.
Yeah.
It was so bad, and I was like, what if they tell me again that nothing's wrong with me?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was afraid of. I was like,
That's actually how my journey started. I couldn't
Really?
hold food down from January to like maybe the beginning of March in 2013. So I was glad. I was like, oh, March, my birthday. I better be able to eat because I want cake. I'm so greedy.
who doesn't on their birthday?
So I was able to get well enough to eat.
Yeah.
And then, like, you know, maybe like about a month later, that's when the actual pain started. So everybody's different in a way, but we're all the same. But luckily for you, you got a diagnosis pretty fast comparing to some people who have to wait years and going through it. I mean, it doesn't make it any better saying that, you know, the diagnosis came a little quicker, but at the same time, they still gave you the runaround. So that's one thing we all have in common. They don't believe us when we say we're in pain initially. And that's something that I really think the medical community should do a better job of, is just follow through when somebody said they're hurting. You know, I don't know what your pain felt like, but mine felt like a Charlie horse that didn't go away. It just sat in my bones, and it especially in my hands. It just sat there, and it was nothing I could do to get rid of that pain.
Right. It was no escaping it. Like the more I researched lupus and different autoimmune diseases that mimic it, I realized that I've been having some of these symptoms for years prior to me getting sick and going into my first flare. So I had been struggling with GI issues. I've been to a GI, had an endo done, found nothing wrong. I had been struggling with anxiety and depression. I had even gone to my doctor, insomnia. You know, like my doctor did put me on Lexapro for my anxiety and depression, and that helped a bit, but I was like, I feel like there's a foreign invader inside. It's something foreign here.
So after a while, it worked, and then after a while, it didn't. Because I went through that. I was on Prozac, you name it. I was like the poster child for everything out there. And after a while, it just didn't work. So I know exactly what you mean. And, you know, it got to the point where I was like, I'm quitting this cold turkey. They was like, you quit Prozac? You just got off? I was like, yeah, just got off. There's like, no withdrawal? No. Like, are you okay? Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not taking that anymore. But I think when you go through all of that to get to this point now, it makes them see that something was wrong. You were telling the truth. But let's talk about the fact that you're an artist and you paint, and the effect that Lupus tries to steal your thunder, but you want to come back. You want to come back.
Lupus was trying to steal my light and my shine for a minute, but when I did go through my first flare, like October through November, the pain was so intense that, like I said, it was hard for me to do fine motor things. I couldn't hold a pencil. I couldn't hold a paintbrush. I was like, well, if I'm going to be in bed and at home, I'm going to at least try to get some, you know, artwork done. And it really broke my spirit that I couldn't do that. And I didn't think, I'm learning so much about myself.
Oh, you will.
So much about myself. And I was like, wow, I already knew my artwork meant the world to me, but when I couldn't do it, that was like earth-shattering to me. And it kind of brought me into a deeper depression. But like I said before, I have a great support system within my family and a few select friends, and they were really there for me. Like, I think when I told people I was sick, I think they were thinking like, oh, you got a cold or you got the flu, and I was like, no, this isn't that type of sick. I don't know what this is at the moment, but
Right.
it's hit the brakes on my whole entire life. So that was difficult, but now that I'm feeling better and I'm getting ready for a new show, I've been painting. Every time I get a free moment and I can sit down and to myself, I'm painting. I'm using these hands.
That's good. I'm glad you're back in business because I've
you.
seen some of your artwork and it's amazing.
Thank
Tell them how
you.
they can find your artwork, by the way.
You can find me. I am Leah McMurrin on Facebook, and I am at Rojo Afro on Instagram. That's ROJO Afro. So check me out. Check out my shows. I'm constantly updating my social medias and letting people know whenever I have shows or events or whenever my art is on display. So
That's what's up.
hit me at the new campus.
And I wanted you to really encourage somebody that is really in the phase that you're in because you're newly diagnosed, so you're going through adjusting to some of the medication that they have you on, and I know some of that can also disrupt your sleep and maybe give you weight gain issues or whatever issues, because I know in the beginning like I had insomnia to begin with, and in the beginning the medication just totally messed up my sleep. In the first 5 months I had to adjust. So what is that like for you? Maybe you can encourage somebody if you're having issues with that. If you're having issues with that, maybe you can encourage somebody that's going through that as well.
Insomnia is still a nuisance and an issue for me, but I just encourage anyone who's new to this diagnosis or these symptoms. Maybe you haven't gotten a formal diagnosis. Maybe you're hitting every symptom on the list and
Right.
feeling them.
Right.
Take your time. Take your time. Your time is valuable. Your energy is valuable.
So key.
This will put so many things in perspective about other people. How you give them your time,
ma'am.
The things you decide to put on your plate. Like, is this worth it? Is like, really, is this worth it? Like, every move is calculated now because I don't have the energy to waste. I don't have the spoons.
Preach.
So
I'm about to pass the collection plate over here.
So to me, I just try to look at like who and what is worth my time and energy. And please don't, like, you're not at a place anymore in your life to keep pushing yourself and to be like totally stretched thin. You can't do that. I used to be one of those people. On my feet every day. I used to work with kids. Every day, chasing after little kids, 10 hours a day, and I would be, that's part of the journey. I realized after working with kids, I was like, I was really doing all of that, feeling like this, feeling like this, and the aches and the pains and the rash would appear after I would get off of work. And
so you would have rashes too?
I would. A few years ago, I'd even gotten the rash had gotten so bad, it was like during the winter, and it was almost like rough and hard. Like, I never experienced that before, and I went to my primary. I was like, what kind of dry skin is this? And she was like, well, do you want to go to a dermatologist? It was very matter of fact. Like, she didn't see anything wrong with it. Come to find out, it was a small butterfly rash. So,
and this was a few years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and you just got diagnosed in December 2016.
Yep.
My rash came in summer 2012.
Really?
Nice butterfly.
Mm-hmm.
Thing was ugly as hell. And it hurt. Not even
Yes.
water could touch my
Yes.
face.
Oh my gosh, yes.
So when I was washing my face and water hit it, it burned. I didn't even know what that was, so I thought it was sunburn.
I thought it was something like that. I have naturally dry skin, but I had never been that dry before.
Wow.
So I know we all do this. Like, you think back and like, well, if they just would have taken the next step, maybe I would have found out sooner. But
we didn't know, and that's why I'm doing this now, because somebody out there is experiencing all of this stuff that we're talking about, and their doctor's probably just pushing them to the side and saying it's nothing, or they probably passed out from being in the sun like I did one summer. I passed out in like 2011.
Oh my goodness.
Just standing in the sun having a conversation with a lady. Boom, hit the floor. Paramedics came, checked me out. Everything was fine, and I drove home. I was like, no, I want to go to the hospital. I'm fine.
Gosh.
And I drove home.
Dyon.
That was stupid. Looking back, I'm like, that should not have been. I should have gone to the doctor. I went to the doctor like the next day, but there was nothing that they could find that was wrong with me. But that's what I'm saying. Like, now that we know, I think it's my job, it's my duty to help somebody else, because we've already gone through the fire. It's our job to educate somebody else, to help somebody that's going through it, because they're going through it and they're probably frustrated like we were.
Yes.
So now they don't have to wait 10 months like I did. They don't have to wait 2 months like you did. They could probably wait a week.
Yes. Get
a couple of days, get a second and third opinion, get it over with, and next thing you know, you have a diagnosis, you're on medication, they're starting you off, you're getting the treatment that you need, and you're feeling better, or at least a little better.
Yeah.
Because it's not always going to be peaches and cream. Because right now I'm sitting here and I'm like, I don't know what this pain is in my left shoulder and my whole left side. I'm like,
yes,
Jesus,
I'm a little achy today.
Jesus, come down and touch this whole left side, because I'm going to need a healing right now as we speak, okay? Yes, Lord, yes. But before we sign off, as always, don't forget to take care of you. Leah just shared some nuggets with you about just watching your energy. And sometimes we're so, I know for me, I love people, I love on people, but I'm very mindful these days of what I do and where I go and the energy that I give out, and I pay attention to that. So make sure you pay attention to what you're doing and where you're going, and love on you. If you don't do nothing else, love on you. Just be mindful of that. So until next time, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like and leave a comment. Let us know what you feel and how you're doing, especially if you live in a colder climate. How you doing with lupus and the cold? We have a rough winter here in Baltimore, but it was rough enough where it caused some flare-ups. So
yeah, till recently.
Yes, till recently, right? So love on you and have a blessed one. Thank you for tuning in.